brand. We have three amazing women with us. So I'll just introduce them and then we'll quickly get to the topic. So we have Pradnya, who's the founder of Brand March.
Hi.
Pradnya, yeah. And then we have Natasha, um, who's the founder of Words Edge.
Hi, everyone.
And we have Subha, who's the founder of SNL Brand Studio.
Hi, all.
So this is a great opportunity for you all. I mean, not for the three of you, but for the viewers watching us, and to understand how to build a brand, right? Because we're in a time where it's not only important to come up with something that will solve people's problem, but to also break the clutter and push forward your brand. So I'll just start with the first question. Adna, you can take this one. That what is the first step that is involved in building a brand? What are the things that you need to identify in your product, service, or organization, right, when it comes to building a brand?
Yeah, so when it comes to building a brand, the first thing that we must look at is our core competencies. So, what is my core competencies, and what value would my core competency give to the audience that I am catering to? The second one that comes immediately with my core competency is the values that my organization will be taking throughout the process. So, what kind of values do I bring in on the plate? So there are times when while building your brand, like you would be coming across to customers who may not be your right target audience, or probably just to get the business going, you may get into say yes to it. So as an entrepreneur, I would suggest that it's good to say no to certain things if that's not a part of your core value, because that will make you more stronger in the process. So this is what the two things is about: building the competency, working on them, and keep on drilling on it. And second thing is being very sure about the values. What are your core strengths? That's about it. Yeah.
Okay. Natasha, would you like to add on anything to this?
Yes, apart from what Pradnya just mentioned, I think it's important for a brand, as it's trying to identify its core proposition, to come up with answers to three things: the how, the why, and the what. Right? So the why will actually tell you why you're doing what you're doing. Identify with the values that you come up with. The how question is going to help you kind of come up with what are the processes that you need to set in motion in order to reach the why. And the what question will answer what is your core offering. So what are the products and services that you're willing to make within this scheme of things. So for example, you look at Apple's core why is that it comes up with products that are innovative and that challenge the status quo. And in doing so, it how it does this is by coming up with really high quality designs. And finally, to answer the what question, they make computers, they make phones, and so on. So the why, how, and what are three things that a brand should answer in when it comes to identifying, the core proposition.
Subha?
Yeah. So here, see, my target audience, it is a bit different from Natasha and Pranya. Here, what I do is, building a personal brand for individuals, right? See, working professionals, students, as well the business owners. So, but if you look at it, the branding, the process, the questions, the fundamentals are the same. Here, one is the business. What I do is, building brand for the professionals, individuals, right? Similar to any organization, here, it is an individual's responsibility to build a brand. So it is not only about, showcasing yourself, your capabilities on social media. It is about creating that authenticity in whatever you are doing in your field. Right. See, for that, creating that authenticity, first of all, you should know your why and what, right, as an individual. Once you know that, you will get that clarity, then the process starts. So, this is what personal branding is, creating authenticity in your field, in whatever you are doing.
Okay. So there are a lot of times when there are so many products or services in the market, we often feel like what is that new thing that we're bringing? Because somewhere or the other, we kind of see what we are doing, there are things that are already existing. And since there's so many people out there who are doing stuff, so we get confused as to, will we be able to be pioneer in the field that we're doing? What we are talking about, are we the only ones talking about that thing? So is it really important for a brand or product or service to be pioneers in what they do, or is it fine if that product is already existing and they can still sort of build a separate and unique identity for themselves? So Natasha, would you like to take that?
Sure. So while it's a great idea to come up with a new set of ideas, products or services that cater to a completely new market, it comes with its own challenges, right? You'd have to start from the very beginning, trying to create a market, you know, for your product or service. You'd have to then think of completely innovative marketing strategies to try to talk to your customers. There's a lot of, while it's great, that you have the first movers advantage. I think it is also equally important to see what other players are doing in the market. And if you're a small business, right, it's going to be challenging because you'd have to have enough cash flow to sustain while you are testing out the waters for the very first time, as opposed to people who come out with products or services in a market that already exists. The landscape is already defined, right? And having said that, you can think of the focus then shifts to 2 or 3 areas, which could be better ways of doing what other brands are already doing. So I think basically you'll have to evaluate the stage, your runway, and you'd have to evaluate a lot of parameters and then decide whether this is the right thing for you to do or not. Personally, I think for smaller businesses with a lesser runway, it's a lot easier to kind of come up with innovative ideas to market your brand in an area that already exists, and leave the innovation to the bigger industries and the bigger companies.
Okay. And a lot of women who have their small scale businesses, right? They don't have that sort of a cash flow to be hiring someone else. So do you think, Pradnya, do you think that is this something that they can do it on their own? Like, I have a question here that, okay, I'm running a play school, but there are many of them. And can you please suggest basically how she can differentiate and stand out with other play schools, right? So there are a lot of women running smaller play schools, and then, probably they have their own clothing brand where they're making and selling clothes, and a lot of them also running small boutiques or, things like that. How do you think, do you think that they can, with their own research, do it on their own, Pradnya?
So yes, definitely. Fortunately, I'm working with a couple of preschools as well. So we are developing on the social media the digital presence. So when it comes to answering the question of whether a startup or an entrepreneur can do it on their own, yes, definitely they can do it on their own. What is required is a certain amount of training that they need to go through. They need to understand the market well. So when a preschool is there, so there's a vicinity that a preschool covers, right? So if we are talking about Pune city, and if there's one particular area in which the preschool is located, so you need to cater to a periphery. So maybe like a periphery about 5 to 8 kilometers when it comes to a preschool. So what you need to do is you need to do your own research. You need to find out how best you can get into it by dealing with your already existing customers. So here a lot of engagement is required. So when it's a preschool, what I would suggest is when we are dealing with it, the companies, basically it's just a moment. So when it's a preschool, so understanding what is the requirement out there, right? So we should be under catering to the requirements in terms of what the parents want, right? How the parents can, deal with the children, how they can get the behaviorals into the children. So this kind of engagement, this kind of information sharing, if you're able to connect with the parent, if you're able to connect them, then that is how it's going to get you going. So when you're running a preschool, I think you should be able to do it. So understanding your customers well is something that I would strongly recommend. Get yourself equipped on the social media platforms that are available, how you can connect with them. As an individual entrepreneur, it's very important to be there online to understand, how to interact with your customers.
Okay. So, Subha, I'd like to put this question for you. Charvi is asking, what should we keep in mind while naming a brand? So, how much
Yeah.
thought does one put into naming a brand?
Yeah, sure. See, I would like to give an example of how I came up with my brand identity, the name for my brand, right? See, I mean, I started off as a freelancer, okay, after quitting my corporate journey and all. So SLN, it was there because SLN is nothing but my name, yeah, Subha Lakshmi Narsimhan. I just started using it as an acronym. At one point of time when I was doing multiple things. Okay, so at one point of time when I wanted to bring in all my services under a single umbrella, I definitely did some introspection. Okay, before talking to anybody, introspection should be the first step. When I say introspection, look at the way you are serving. Okay, be it a product or a service, right? What exactly you are delivering? Is it a product or a service? Yeah, then connect it with the audience. Yeah, so when you are connecting it with the audience, you will understand the connection. Just give that connection a name. When I was see what I was doing, before bringing in the brand, that particular term in my brand identity as a part of my brand name of my brand, I connected. I was doing resume building. Yeah, I was doing content writing for businesses. I was doing some training. Yeah. So when I wanted to, bring all these services under a single umbrella, introspection led me to identify an USP, which is personal branding. Okay. See, when I'm building a content, I looked at my audience. All these people were either solopreneurs or they were having a small team, right? Where there is no separate brand, for a business owner or a entity, right? So ultimately, what I was doing, a personal brand. So SLN I had, brand, I had to bring it down. Then SLN brand was there. I needed a suffix, right? When I was going through multiple things, studio fits well, even though I'm not running any photo studio sort of a thing. SLN brand studio fits very well. I just had it on one particular day. So first thing what helped me was the introspection. As a part of introspection, I looked at the services or the services that I was doing. So for Chavi here, what I would recommend is like look at what exactly you are delivering to your client, right? So building some connection, define that connection, give some name to that connection. Okay, that connection will lead you to give a name for your brand. Yeah, and then as a second step, try it out. You can do A/B testing. Try it out with a number of people. You will know what A/B testing is when you're running a business. You can do it. You have 2-3 names, and then you can come up with a name. That's how I came up with a name for my brand.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That was, I think, really helpful. And so, my next question is to Natasha. Um, how much thought does one have to put while positioning their brand, right? And identifying their target audience?
So I think to answer this question, I think it's very important to understand that businesses survive and thrive because of their customers, right? And it's also important to note that we need to meet our customers right at the point that they are at in the marketing journey of our brand and our story. So in saying that, we have to definitely keep their problems and challenges in mind. We have to look at various ways and means that our brand, our offering is helping them address the problems and challenges that they are facing, and identifying, meeting them at finding the right balance. This will also, like I mentioned earlier, it's equally important to identify the three questions that I spoke about earlier: the why, what, and how, because that's going to help you streamline your thought process, rather than if there is a new platform that comes up, if there is a new offering that comes up, it'll help you to understand whether that's the space that you want to be in or not. So identifying the problems and challenges with your customers is very important for you to then define what strategies you'd like to take.
Okay. So I'm throwing open the next question by Geeta. She's asking, blogging is one of the booming industry. How can I stand out of the crowd with my unique brand? So anyone can take this question.
Okay, so I can take that up because we're a content focused marketing agency. So you know keeping the whole the questions of who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, how is it that you serve the customers needs and wants, and what is it that sets you apart when it comes to your brand. These are some things that you'll have to identify with, and it's important to also do a competition benchmarking in your area, and see what other players in your market are doing. Also, I think having a go-to brand, or someone that you can kind of look up to, understanding what their journey has been, and marrying that to the journey that you are in right now. I think it's important to go through each of those milestones and understand what the similarities are, and then progress from there. While you know pretty much all the spaces that we are in will eventually become crowded. The only thing that will set us apart is a customer, right? And whether they are loyal to us or not. So what, going back to the example of Apple, they're an amazing brand to talk about, and to have several conversations about when it comes to marketing, because no other brand has done has come close to doing what they are doing, because they've built such a loyal customer base that people actually look forward to their offering whenever that happens. So building a story that connects so strongly with your customers is extremely important, and that's what I'd suggest you spend and invest your time in at this time.
Okay. So Pradnya, what do you think is the most important thing, or the that one should consider while they are thinking about starting their own business? Where do they start with? What is the first starting point for them? Like, just in terms of how they analyze what their product or service is. Could you just give some quick tips on that?
Yeah. So first thing is, as I said earlier, is identifying your core competency. The second thing is building on the team, because as a startup, as an entrepreneurs, we rely a lot on our team. So having a good team in place is really important. Your what kind of team, what kind of skills, and in the process you need to see like how your team also grows with you, how your team builds on the competencies that they are working on, because eventually your team is there out to cater to the customers, and they are going to be your face, right? So a teamwork, so wherein we are into branding and digital services, so it's a completely a day in and day out, things are changing now with the lockdown. Most of the companies have decided, like, they will shut down their social media presence. But what I would suggest is probably that's not the right approach, or sitting back in the couch. Here, what companies could do is be there in the market, interact with your customers. Now is the time because everyone is scrolling on internet. So you really need to understand and pick up, like, how you will be going ahead with it. So another thing is, like, understanding your customers' preferences, studying your target audience. So learning is not just about your skill development, but it's also about your understanding about your target audience. So as your businesses is maturing, so are your customers are maturing. Their preferences are maturing. So even before they think of coming to you, they've already done a lot of research. So nowadays the meetings are not like, a cold calling where you say that, I'm so and so company, or I'm so and so agency and would like to discuss my services. No, they have already studied you. The moment they understand your name, they go to your Facebook, they go to your
Yeah,
LinkedIn profile,
they
they
do their
study.
own research.
Yeah, yeah. So they are already well researched. So you don't need to go back to step one. You need to probably start from the step 8 or so. So you need to be there with your customers in their journey. Content is another very important aspect when
Yeah,
you
so
are.
talking about content, it's important not to hard sell, right? Because that's the thing which used to work, I think, ages back, and now it doesn't work at all. If you tell them, like, even while promoting things on, let's say, social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, if you just say things like watch this, buy this, try this, it's never going to work. You have to make it meaningful for everybody there. So Subha, since you are the one more focused on creating personal brand, how important do you think it's not too hard, I mean, to try not too hard sell and not make it seem like you're just, like, throwing things at your customer, rather than just, just giving things to your customers, okay, try this, maybe this will work for you, maybe this will be helpful for you. So things
Yeah.
like that. How do you do that?
Yeah. See, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, right? See, personal branding is not only about, making some noise on social media,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to working professionals or even business owners, right? I mean, these two set of audience that I'm, working along with. You have to use this personal branding strategy building and then execution as a part of, evolving. Okay. So you will keep on evolving in, not only in your professional life, also in, personal life, right? I mean, as we all know, we are in VUCA world, right? See, this is like this lockdown is the perfect example of the world that we are in, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any control here? We can only sit at home, stay safe, right? Just follow whatever government is telling. Apart from that, do we have any other control on changing the situation? No. But how we are viewing it, how we are using this opportunity to evolve, to grow, is where the personal branding, comes in place, right? See, when you're not, thinking from personal branding viewpoint, normally what we do, yeah, we tend to throw something on the audience's, laptop, right? Whether, without
Yeah.
thinking whether they need it or not. But this is the time I would strongly recommend, work on your personal brand. See, when I say work on your personal brand, as a business owner, what you can do, you look at your, branding strategy again. See, as Pradnya mentioned, it's a superb, point that I would like to elaborate. This is not the time to step out of digital media. Okay, it is not the time to step out of social media. It is time to go closer to social media, because everybody is online, right? Be it a meeting or anything, everybody is online.
Yeah.
This is the time you should use it to understand social media well. Yeah, this is the time you have to closely work with your branding strategist, right? Whoever is handling your branding, it is the time you have to closely work with them, understand the fundamentals, right? When you understand the fundamentals, why you are doing, why you need a personal brand, right? You will automatically, it is like, default process. You will not throw anything on your audience. You will, when you are going closely with social media, what happens here? You start understanding what exactly your audience wants, right? What is their need? What is their want? Then map it with what you are delivering. I mean, are you really delivering well? See, it is not only about the product, it is about the communication. Okay, are you communicating right about your product? See, earlier days, somewhere I read, earlier days in 60s, 70s, 80s, and all, when we started, Colgate and all, it was new in the market. Nobody used to ask for toothpaste, right? I read it somewhere. Bhaiya, Colgate de do, okay, konsa
Yeah.
wala, Pepsodent wala.
Hmm.
You see how people were,
Yeah.
connecting the brand with the product,
Yes.
the
The
industry.
same with Xerox, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Xerox,
Xerox.
photocopy, and also how Maggie has taken over all the instant noodles,
Yes,
where we don't
exactly.
even if we buy something else, it's like only
Uh,
Maggie we've focused on, and
yes.
then we can relook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yippee wala Maggie it has become.
yeah, yeah.
This
Okay.
is the time you can, create. See, that is where I talk about authenticity, right?
Hmm.
If you are a working professional, right? If you are working for an organization, if you look at it, the same role has been, done by n number of people, right? How can you build an authenticity here? How can you make yourself, stand unique? See, this is the time you have to map your goal with your organizational goal and see where you are lagging. So identify the gaps. Start working on all the gaps. See what exactly I'm doing right now. See, because the core delivery part of it, it is kind of slow. Okay, people are worried about investing on their personal brand right now. So what I
Hmm.
exactly I'm doing, I'm rebranding. I'm working on looking at my web content. I'm closely working with my web designer to do all the modifications in my website. Right. I recently did one more keyword related course to
Hmm.
understand what exactly is happening today. So it is in your hand. Yeah. So personal branding, the process of building your personal brand will help you to identify all these gaps, how you can better utilize this period to grow instead of cribbing and complaining.
Hmm. Okay. So, how important would you say that it is to reinvent yourself? Because in this fast pace of life that we are all living with, new brands coming in every other day, so how important it is to keep reinventing yourself?
Yes, definitely. See, reinventing is something that I, stress upon, with all my, clients, be it one-on-one or group sessions.
Hmm.
Because see, since again, the VUCA world, especially when, majorly our lives are depending on technology,
Hmm.
the technology is changing, right? See,
Yeah.
1.5 years back, the algorithm in Facebook is totally different. Today, it is totally different, right?
Hmm.
We don't know how it is going to change in another month or 2 months or 3 months. See, Facebook is just an example, simple example that I'm giving you. Likewise, data science is coming up, right? Everywhere we
Yeah.
are depending on data. The way we look at data today is completely different from how we were looking at it earlier. So technology
Hmm.
is changing. In parallel, people, there are three things generally I tell people, be it an individual or a business owner: technology, people, and processes, right? These three elements is what is running our lives today. So if you look at it, people are changing. If you look at it, technology is changing. You have to change the process, right, to
Hmm.
survive. So here you have to reinvent. There is no other way. You have to reinvent yourself. When I say reinvent, you don't have to completely change the way you are working, but reinventing will help you to be in touch with what is happening in life. Yeah,
Hmm.
what is happening around us. We will be keeping ourselves updated with all the changes that are happening in the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, when we are reinventing ourselves. See, that is the connection that we have to make.
So we are getting a lot of questions. So let's take this question from Pooja Doshi. She's asking, please give some inputs on building a brand for an online venture specializing in wedding giveaways that favors for other social occasions like housewarming, birth announcement, and etc. So anybody wants to take that up?
Okay, so I can take that up.
Yeah.
Just to understand the question clearly, Pooja is wanting to set up an e-commerce website, which is
Hmm.
focused on take giveaways, right? As
Yeah.
what she's mentioned. So this is something that's sort of a seasonal, brand or a seasonal offering, I would say. Seasonal, given that there are certain very high, there will be certain times when there's going to be a high volume of business, and the rest of the year there might be a little bit of a lull, right? So given this, I would encourage Pooja to make very good utilization, of the time, of the time that there is a peak, or that she anticipates the surge in her sales, right? And to utilize the rest of the months to kind of focus on how she's going to address every aspect, making sure that she addresses the technology front, that she'll be able to handle the traffic. She'd be able to meet up to the ask, which is in terms of delivery, right? In terms of returns and refund policy, she's also going to be delivering on that front as well. And she needs to think of all these areas when she plans her strategies. And given the marketing itself, make good utilization of the digital platforms that are available, and try to think of a plan, a short-term plan, a long-term marketing strategy that will help you to achieve the target and the goals that you set out.
Okay. So I think that was helpful. I hope it was helpful. So we're just getting a lot of questions. So let's just get to them. So Rupa is asking, my question is on articulation of data and presentation in a limited time. Since that's a skill that people have to develop, could you throw some light on this? How do we have any tools that could help with content?
Sorry, what are the tools available for content? Is that the question?
Yeah.
You mean content creation?
Yeah, I think she means content creation.
See, when it comes to content
and how to present it, basically, what are the pointers one needs to keep in mind while making data?
So,
making content for their platforms.
Right. So I would like to re-articulate that question to say that, what she's looking at is basically coming up with a content strategy that's going to help her, sell her story. Right. So in doing so, she would have to come up with a calendar of sorts to define, the different problems and challenges that her customers might have, and what are those problems and challenges going to be met by her brand, right? And addressing those problems and challenges in her content, right? Because people, like it was mentioned earlier, people are very well researched these days, right? They come to a brand knowing fully well that, what the brand is about and whether this is a brand that's going to help them, with the problems and challenges that they are facing. So it's important to re-emphasize, why, you're the right brand that they should approach, and that you're going to be able to do with being as detailed as possible, and, instilling confidence in them. Instilling confidence about your brand, right? So come up with different informative tips, trends, address every aspect of the problems that, you think they will likely to have, that they are likely to have. So address that through your content.
So talking about content, Subha, how important do you think videos are in today's world, right? Like, people say that, okay, with one post, you won't be able to communicate so much, but with a video, you can communicate so much more, right? Like, there's so much information that can be entailed in a video in terms of content. So Nitin's also asking a similar question, that when it comes to content, do you think videos do much better than blogs, keeping in mind the increasing number of videos on social media?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. In fact, personally for me, when I started doing Vimeo, so the, video blogging and all, I started seeing some difference, first of all, in me, okay, and then connecting with my audience, okay. when I say, I started having a difference in me, because even nowadays, our attention span is very, very low, right? Even when it comes to video, you cannot have longer video, right? Doing a 30-second or 60-second pitching, it is the most difficult thing in the whole world, I would say. Yeah. I would, in fact, recommend everybody to try it. Creating 30-second video where, you start up, you talk about yourself. That should be the first step that we should be doing when we are creating any videos. Yeah. And then the second thing is, once you start working on the videos, right?
Yeah.
You will also understand how to comprehend information in an interesting way. See, storytelling is a buzzword now, right? We are all talking about storytelling. Storytelling, we are giving stories in different forms. But when you are doing it, using a video as a medium, there is a huge difference that you will see in your storytelling ability. Yeah, so definitely videos are very, very important. In fact, in my the key deliveries, which is building resume for people, video resume is picking up really well, right? Creating a video resume is tough, because putting across some information in 1.5 pages, 2 pages is kind of easy, but squeezing everything in, comprehending all the information in 30 seconds or 60 seconds is quite an art. Okay, when you do that, you will be able to, you will be parallelly, improving your communication skill, interpersonal skill as well. Okay, it is not only about you creating a video. Yeah, it is not only about, okay, how the lighting should be, how things should be. It will definitely increase your communication skill, interpersonal skill. Yes, I highly recommend people, even working professionals, to create some videos, pop it in all their social media platforms.
Okay, and so for smaller businesses, right, they might not have that kind of a budget to create videos, but I feel like we have such good smartphones today that we can create some awesome content with that, and some really high quality content even with using smartphones. So would you recommend people to just start building content with whatever equipments they have, with whatever phones they have, just
Yes.
invest in a high quality a phone with a high quality camera, and just get on with creating that content? Would you agree to that?
Yes, definitely, definitely. See, a simple smartphone is, good enough. Okay, and almost all most of us are, using some Apple product, right? It could
Yeah.
be MacBook or some Apple product, right? See, and any be it any product,
And even
all
the
your
cheaper
laptops.
phones have awesome cameras these days.
Yes, yes. See, to
Yeah.
capture a video, you can use your smartphone. Okay, that is good enough, right? Any smartphone that you are using. To edit it, see, I wouldn't recommend just click on something and then capture some video and then share it. Okay. See, editing is also very, very easy. I'm doing
Yes,
all
yes.
my videos on my phone. Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm doing all the editing, because right now I don't want to invest on that as of this minute, right? Because of the changes. In fact, I had some plans to invest on that, but because of the changes that are happening right now, I'm doing all my videos on my own, recording it. Yeah, so Velfie is something, it's again an art. Yeah. So recording, you can use a simple smartphone. Yeah, with all the smartphones come with beautiful cameras, high-end cameras. You can use that. For editing, you can use some free softwares. MacBook, it has iMovie Maker. Yeah,
Yeah.
simple. You have n number of YouTube videos to help you how to do the editing. It is very simple. One video you will learn how to do the editing part of it, and then upload it and then share it. So this is one way to create your have your YouTube channel, or similar channels, online channels, video channels. I highly recommend that.
Okay. So, Pragna, I'll just ask you one question. Is it important to give a personal touch to the brand? How important it is? I think we've sort of discussed that before, but if you could just like answer this quickly for Shreya.
Yeah, hi Shreya. So yes, personal touch, giving a personal touch. So when I say hi Shreya, here it is what it's personal touch that we are connecting on. So with digital marketing, with branding, I think when a customer is addressed with their name, so it gives them a sense of feeling that there's someone talking. So the moment there is, so how do you do an engagement? So while there are so many conversations happening on social media, So when you as a brand connect with your individual customers by addressing their pain points, right? Another thing is like, wherein there are lots of reviews that we get on Facebook and Google's, and there is a psychology that mostly people put in a Google review when they are kind of not satisfied with the brand. So I would strongly recommend that, here is a time where you really need to personally connect with your customers, because letting go on the negative feedbacks or an unsatisfied customer is going to be a very wrong impression about your personal brand as well as about your company. So addressing the issues, addressing the problems, and saying, yeah, hi, here, this is so and so, and we are very sorry that you have gone through certain phase, but then we are here to help you out. So this not only helps you retain the customer, but it
Yes.
gives an response to other customers who are following you, who are reading your reviews, that yes, people do mistakes in the process, but while doing so, this particular brand or this particular person is taking a care and is trying to be there to solve the problems. So you can do personal branding on social media, in your email campaigns, and probably everything, even if it's merchandising, right? So even when I get something merchandised with my name carved on it, I am most likely to keep in then because it's made for me. So with digital, definitely you have tremendous scope that you can go on personal brand.
Okay. So I hope that more than answers your question, Shreya. Okay, so going to the next question, how to pinpoint your actual core competency? Basically, how to identify your USP, right? So, and she says, because when we plan about beginning the business, how to identify your niche. I may be good at writing or even talking or designing. So, which thing to prioritize, right? Like if some person can do multiple things, and how to sort of pinpoint that, okay, this is going to work. I think like they have to do a lot of market research as to what is also what the consumers also want. I think that would be one, but you guys please answer this question. So how to identify your core competency when your product or service solves multiple problems, or you as an individual can create more than one thing for that you can sell.
Yeah. So can I take this up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, so when you are having multiple competencies, so what you can do is you can probably start with one that you think that you are very good at or you're passionate about. So the moment you are passionate about a particular thing, so like say for designing, if you are good in designing and you want to pick that as your profession, so start with that. So as you start the process, in the process, there is a lot of scope of reinventing yourself, right? And then you can offer the platter that you have, but you start with the first thing at time. So with me, when I thought that my core is going to be digital and that's what I'm good at, I started with that. But eventually today we are here offering tremendous services, like it comes on the branding part of it, it comes on internal branding, which we had not done 3 years back, but today we've done quite a lot of internal branding. So eventually you evolve in the process. So but but what is important is, instead of there are many people that I have seen is they are sitting and just thinking whether I should start or I should not start, or whether I am good at this. So if there is too much of analysis, probably you never end up starting things. So here I would like to strongly recommend is start, just give that kick, and the moment it starts, then you would know, like how to take this on. But then don't get into an analysis mode, or don't keep on thinking, what if this happens, what if I do this, what if. So it's like just get going.
Okay. So answering Darshita's question, I think Subha already addressed that in this lockdown period, how she is utilizing this time to revamp her own business, to re-look at her website and probably design it again and things like that. So Subha, would you like to continue, like talk a little bit about this again?
Yeah, sure. See, especially for manufacturing industry, right? If it is a small business where you are the only person taking care of everything, like website and all other stuff, you can work on rebranding, rebranding, and then whatever you wanted to do, reinventing yourself, and then reinventing the business that you are doing. The other thing that what we can do, especially the product-based businesses, if you have a team. See, when I say team, not only people who are serving you, right? I mean, it's like who are there in delivering your product as your team. Especially with branding, right? All other stakeholders also help you to build a brand. Okay, it is not only you and your employees, even your vendors, your third party, right? They may not be there in the direct payroll, right? Everybody is building a brand, helping you to build a brand, right? You also look at ways how you can help them, right? See, probably even though the manufacturing unit is shut, probably you are well, you are fine with going ahead with your life financially, right? What is happening with your other teams in your team, right? If for example, if they are from underprivileged sector, one is that you may continue paying them the salaries and all, right? Apart from that, look at ways how you can help them to boost their morale. Like this is the time you can keep them highly motivated. Not only the money, right? See, not only okay, you are paying the salary, then you can sit back. No, this is the time you can help them to grow in other areas. You can help them build some new skill. It could be that you kind of help them to build that understand how digital media works, right? How technology works. Maybe you can run some technology related workshop for them, help them to grow, right? It is not only about growing our finances, it is also how we are helping others to grow personally, right? You can definitely use this time to build some close network, close relationship with all your teams, everybody in your team, all the internal stakeholders, especially internal stakeholders. Right? Of course, your digital media is going to I'm sure you're still using your social media to get connected with your clients, but make sure you are connecting with your internal stakeholders as well.
Okay. So let's just take this last question. Natasha, would you like to answer this? So Suresh is asking, which tool should be applied first out of the three: advert, events, and PR, and why?
Which tools, as in advertisements, events, and PR? Um,
I feel all these three go hand in hand, and you have to keep doing depending on what your product is.
that's
I
true.
mean, you essentially today have to do everything and not just be focused on one thing. But would you like to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, so like what it was mentioned earlier, it is good to kind of have a go-to-market strategy and test that out before you actually figure out whether this is working for you or not, right? So while I would not advise to try out 100 different channels, because there are so many different tools, platforms that are available in the
Hmm.
market, right? It is good to now is a good time to kind of reflect. Now is a good time to strategize and think about what your offering is and what is the shortest way to reach your target audience and communicate your story. Having
Hmm.
said that, go in, give enough time to test out your strategy, right? Because I think I've seen a lot of people getting impatient. Something doesn't happen immediately. They quickly switch. They look at a different platform, they look at a different strategy altogether, and that is not advisable at all. I think it's good to kind of spend some time in thinking about a strategy that is going to last for at least 3 to 6 months, right? Or having a short term strategy and having a long term strategy. So when you're and short term strategy is not something that that you should have for a daily basis, right? What I mean by short term strategies, give it enough time to test out. So for example, if you're doing Google ads and things like that, you need to give at least a couple of weeks, and try out different forms of communication, different price points, different offerings, different content, and then figure out what it is that is working for you. And having a long term strategy is extremely important, because that's going to help your customers come to you rather than you going to them every time. And anything that's paid advertisement, is a will meet short-term goals, right? When it comes to certain sales and things like that, your short-term marketing strategy is going to help you. But you want your customers to come to you in the end, right? And for that to happen, it is extremely crucial that you invest in long-term marketing strategies. One of them being content, and the other being SEO, right? So content is something that the consumption of content today is very, very high, right? People spend at least anywhere between 4 to 6 hours reading and consuming content, right? And at the same time, they are there on multiple devices, right? And they are available at multiple different timings. So you need to make very good utilization of that time that they are spending online, and addressing everything that they want to know, right? So giving out informative pieces of content, right, is extremely important. And test, like I said, testing the waters, giving it enough time, and then being very flexible and agile, right? Keeping in mind, your core proposition, which is basically the only constant that will remain will be your why, right? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? The what and the how can always change. You can always you can always adapt to things as the market demands, but your why should always remain constant.
Okay. So I think we've gotten one more question, and she really wants it answered. So my work involves personal presence to detail about dermatology. Basically, she's someone who started her business last year, and now because of the lockdown and everything, I mean, it's not going any. That's what she's saying, that it's not going anywhere, and she's asking strategy. What Natasha is speaking about, she doesn't know it. So, what's the best way? I think what are the best resources that one can follow? I would like to know from the three of you to close this. Any resources? I mean, apart from going out there and I mean, hiring businesses who can do it for them, how do they sort of research on their own? Do you have any, I mean, the top websites that they can refer to? Do your individual pages have that kind of information for them to refer and sort of build things on their own?
Yeah, so I think for physical businesses, right? I mean, like I mentioned earlier, it's extremely important to be flexible and agile. And I've seen a lot of businesses doing that currently. We being a digital business, things have probably, I mean, it's been a lot smoother for us because we were already using online tools to do a lot of things, communicate and collaborate. However, the velocity at which it's grown currently, is unprecedented, right? So having a physical, business itself might demand a certain bit of changes. Like I said, keep your core offering in mind, and try to tweak your offering in a way that it will not completely dilute your brand, right? So if there is a way that you can get onto digital platforms and do what you're doing, give the same offering but in a more digitized way, then think about that, because I think even educational sectors are doing that. A lot of healthcare, a lot of people in the healthcare domain are switching gears and coming to digital platforms to do that. And if they are if you're looking at information to help out, and with the starting steps on how to go about this, there are multiple resources that are available online. If you follow our social media page, we give out a lot of information and tips that anyone can utilize to basically to start off if they are in basically a growing business or a fledgling business. So there are multiple online resources. All you have to do is make very good utilization of the available resources at hand.
Okay. Pradnya, would you like to suggest add on to this
Yeah, I think
about?
Anushka has covered most of it. But what I would say is, at this moment, like, when you are having a physical business and not a service, you need to really connect with your customers on their emotions aspects. So, for example, what I'm trying to say here is we are also working with a couple of industries, as in equipments industries, tire industries. So here we have, like, only about the products and features that we could be able to talk about. But you need to figure out ways, as in, how you could connect with your customers. So for example, when we were working with one of the tire companies, we try kind of evolve their campaigns around the attributes of the tire, like, the sturdiness, the longevity. So this kind of directly connects to the client. Then, when you talk about 100% so and so, or when you get more technical with your products. So here I would suggest, simplify your communication. Try and talk about the softer aspects of your products. There are lots of resources available out there. So once you go on Google, like, the HubSpot reports, and there are lots of industry related reports also that you could uh, work on. uh, we do have lots of, videos that we regularly share, which talks about, how to go about digital for the small and medium scale businesses. So that's all. Like, I think we need to keep on connecting with our customers, is what I would ultimately say. As an entrepreneur, we should be having a forward thinking pattern. So, how do we connect with our customer, and how do we keep them engaged with our brand and products?
Okay. So, Subha, to close this conversation today, I would like to build on what Judith here is saying, that it's a great time to be a woman entrepreneur right now. While a lot of people around us are feeling, some of them would be feeling a little disheartened as to how dynamic the current situation is, and we sort of don't know that what is going to happen. you know so how would you say that, why would you think that this is an awesome time to be an entrepreneur?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. In fact, I am a product of the 2008-9 recession. Okay, my entrepreneurship journey started in 2008-9 during peak recession. See, this is the time, you get some free time, I would say, yeah, or you can, build some free time for yourself. If you're a starter, yeah, I assume that Judith, you are a starter, because I'm just assuming that you are a starter. So this is the time you can talk to people digitally or in person, like in person in the sense, over the call or something. You can do your market research very well, yeah, as a first step. When I say market research, first of all, you should understand what exactly you are going to deliver, right? It could be a product or a service, right? You first of all, you start working on the fundamentals. Okay, so this is the best time. As we mentioned, we all are mentioning again and again, everybody is online now, yeah. So this is the time you can use it, the best, as the best time to create your community. Okay, when I say create a community, you can have a Facebook group, yeah, you can have even a WhatsApp group you can create, right? So, and this is the time people are also looking for some solutions, right? If it is, if your services or the product is connecting with any skill building or anything, right? This is the best time that you venture into market. So you can start by identifying what exactly you want to sell, and then who is your target audience, right? And then start connecting with them, and then build your personal brand, because as a starter, you are your brand, right? Own your personal brand, start building on it. You can follow my Facebook page, LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn profile. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you need any help in building your personal brand, or getting any clarity on how you start your venture, this is the best time. You can reach out to n number. There are n number of mentors, out there from different platforms. You can reach out to the right person, right mentor, right? This is the time for you to build that relationship. Yeah, build your community, which is going to come a long way for along with you. You can reach out to any one of us here. Yeah, we all can help you in different ways, right? Diversified team we are. All four of us are. You can reach out to any one of us, which whom you think that the right person for you.
Yes.
So all the very, very best, Judith.
So, on that note, I would like to thank the three of you for joining in with us today. Natasha, Pradnya, and Subha, thank you so much for joining us. I guess a lot of our viewers had a lot of good questions, I think, which were pretty relevant to their business. And I think you answered them pretty well. And if you have any of other further questions to our viewers, I'm saying you could connect to them directly and take that supervision you need. Now is the time for you to build your business and sort of reflect on where it is going and where do you want to take it. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure.